Hello and welcome to another Podcast Valley Sunday. I am one of your hosts, Chris Paco.
And I'm the other host, Jeff Cameron.
How's it going, Jeff?
Pretty good, man. It's been a long week since our last episode,
Yeah,
wouldn't you say?
We've also been doing the every 2 weeks episodes.
Yeah,
so we
it's been a long
apologize for
2
that.
weeks.
Yeah, it's been a
long
while.
2 weeks, yes.
But here we are back.
Yes.
You ready for episode 17, The Case of the Missing Monkee?
Yes, guy.
Everyone's favorite, I think. This is a good one. We got directed by Bob Rafelson, back in the seat, back in the saddle. Written by Gerald Gardner and Dee Caruso again. And it aired January 9th, 1967.
Wow.
We're just diving deep into 67 now. I'm excited. Because this is with the Monkees, like 66, the beginning, it's exciting, but they don't really hit Monkees' stride until 67, I'd say. Anyway.
A lot of external factors like, the summer of love and whatnot. And we'll get to all this, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll get right into this one. The boys, they're sitting on a stage watching a professor give a speech that makes no sense.
War is war, and peace is peace, and science is science.
And then the yellow Monkees 8-button shirts.
Yes.
The yellow ones are sweet. I always like the yellow.
It's a nice look. Also, I think you noticed that this happens to be in a room that is green.
Oh, yeah.
That we're seeing the green room.
Yeah, the green room pops up quite a bit. We should
Quite
pay more attention to that in the future and say what episodes the green room is in.
It comes up a lot. It's a few different things in this episode. They use it a lot.
They really do. So Mike, Mickey, and Davey are unimpressed, but Peter really loves it, and he goes and talks to the professor afterwards. And he tells the prof he loved his speech, and professor says that he loves Peter's music, and then some shifty guy scoots the professor away.
Yep.
And that is Vito Scotti. If you check out, that's the shifty
gentleman,
guy.
the clearly evil guy.
Yeah, clearly evil is Vito Scotti. Peter tells the boys, but they just want to play. And so then he goes in search of Professor Schnitzler. That's his name.
Schnitzler, yeah.
The Schnitz.
This comes up.
Yeah. And the shifty guy gives a nod, and Peter's hit on the head with a huge mallet, and he's snatched behind a curtain.
Another check mark beside Peter abuse.
Yep, exactly. He really takes lumps, poor Peter.
For real.
He takes it well, though, I guess. So now it's the intro.
I think it was a minute and a half this time.
The
intro.
The cold open.
They were able to lay the narrative pipe pretty quick this time.
Yeah.
You can see what's going on. Now Pete's gone. Boom.
Yeah. It's weird the boys go to play, and then Pete's like, but I want to talk to the professor. And he just takes off and gets it on the head. Classic Schmieder.
Yes.
So the boys, apparently played without Peter. And afterwards they're talking shit about him.
It's not like Peter to take off in the middle of a gig.
Man, he sure takes a lot of looking after.
Oh, I don't know. Not any more than the average aircraft carrier.
Understandably, he bailed on them right before they went to play. And then they say they need to talk to the boss. And the boss ends up being that shifty weirdo.
Yeah.
That's always a good time.
Yeah.
Mike pulls on his sleeve, and he gives it, you don't do that.
Don't do that.
So they tell him that they're looking for their musician friend, and he says that they're musicians and they should be playing music because that's what he hired them to do. Just total dick. Like, we're missing somebody here.
Yep.
And
what does Mike say when they turn away? They're all muttering stuff under their breath.
Big hill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the. Yeah.
So Mike remembers the note that Peter gave him, and that then they're off to the Remington Clinic, because I guess that's where.
Yes, I like how the 8-button panel is also functions as a pocket. You can keep shit in there.
Yeah, it's like a kangaroo pouch.
Totally.
If they're the kangaroos, that would have been
full of guitar picks and joints.
Yeah, and Bird's numbers, man. I need a bigger shit.
For real. Yeah, once Mike finds the note, they all they hop into the Monkee Mobile.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and it pulls up looking awesome.
So cool.
It's a great looking machine. A guy, he asked if it was after used for the Banana Splits car, because I guess they look similar to each other.
Possibly.
I was like, I don't think so. I think that remained Monkee Mobile. I hope so. I'd love to see that.
You ever see the models, like model car kits? And there's the Fonz model car kit. It's Fonzie's car. It's the Monkee Mobile.
Oh, really?
But they probably had a whole bunch of these Monkee Mobile model kits lying around. The late 70s, what are we going to do with this? Fonzie drives a motorbike. He doesn't drive a car in the first place. It's like, but let's just say it's the Fonz's car.
Exactly.
The kids will put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't care. They just want a cool looking car. As soon as it's out of the package, they forget whose car it is anyway. It gets smashed up and broken. So they pull up, and the guys figure out this is where Peter went because he's looking for the professor, and that's what the professor was going to be.
Yeah.
So they go inside, and nurse asks if she could help them. And it's a great camera move around the desk.
I noticed that.
They start there and just zip right around to behind the desk.
It was very cool to see it on the Blu-ray. You're like, ooh, this is a neat shot.
Yeah, it's really well done. Rafelson flexing his muscles
Bobby.
there. They all fumble over their words. I guess they think she's hot or whatever the heck they can't. Then Davy takes over.
But let me do it, will you please?
He's totally like, you guys don't know how to talk to the birds.
And this nurse gets some laugh lines, and she kind of hams it up a little bit. It's a neat little part for whoever this lady is.
Yeah, I wonder. No, I don't have her here. Yeah,
it's a more well developed than a typical female part in a Monkees episode.
I find they're doing that more and more recently, like with the Monkees. Like the girls have more of a thing going on than just being a dumb.
In a handful of them, they do have more to say.
Yeah,
and they're given some of the funny parts. It's cool.
It's 1967. So you gotta.
Yeah.
This isn't the Stone Age.
It's different times.
Yeah. Okay, so they tell her that they're looking for Peter, and he thinks she's there with Professor Schnitzel.
Yeah.
And she says there's no one here by that name, but she suggested the name first. She's like, Schnitzler? And like, yeah. You're like, no, there's no one here.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of it's funny when you see it in a thing.
Yeah. And then she asks what Peter's last name is. And as she's going through names, Mickey says,
Can you say she sells by the seashore?
and as this is happening, a doctor who shows up, and it's the shifty guy again from the party.
God damn it.
So he's really in on this situation. So yeah, did he have to leave the party to follow the guys there? Was the ball going on? He's like, oh, excuse me, I have to leave.
I guess.
Like, what a weirdo.
Yeah.
I bet you people at the party talked about him after he left.
They
Stuff
shit
mid-party,
for sure.
After the band left, and the band's not even there anymore.
What the heck?
Ooh, that's a bad party. I'm glad I wasn't at it.
Yeah.
She says that if their friend is missing, they should go to the police. And as they're leaving, Davy says,
Go see the man.
I don't know if you picked up. It's really funny.
That's funny.
It's a great line of Davy's. It's like he's mocking going to see the man, but he's also saying it for real. I don't know. It's really funny.
Somehow doesn't catch on, I don't think, as a catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly. So the shifty guy asked the nurse who they were, and she says that they were looking for Schnitzler. And then she says her line so flat that I thought she was giving like a winky wink to the camera. You know what I mean? Like trying to be like a robot. But I think she's just like, the producer's friend sitting in. Like she gets some good lines, but her delivery of them is very, no, doctor. They were looking for their friend.
They were looking for a friend of theirs, doctor, and a man named Schnitzler. I'd never heard of them.
That kind of thing, like almost porn acting. And he says he's never heard of them either, and then does a half grimace kind of thing that indicates that he has heard of them.
Yes.
He's just being shifty.
Yep.
Wonder when you do that, like who are you doing that for? Like when you do the half grimace thing, like he's not supposed to know there's a camera there, but he still does that voice. And it's like, you're going to give yourself away, pal. Oh yeah. This next scene is touchy to say the least.
This is when we go back to the green room,
Yeah.
which is now a Chinese restaurant.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're treated to, can only be described as a yellow face ruse.
Yeah. Like they get there and Mike's like, oh, it's a French restaurant. They open up the doors. It's a Chinese restaurant. And the Monkees don't understand what's happening. And then the shop owner shows up. It's a horrible, cringeworthy moment watching now.
Yes. No, yeah, that would not fly these days.
No, people would be up in arms, I think. So anyway, yes. It's
how do you think the writer's room felt about this one?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Maybe they went on strike and this was the other writer's room getting back at them. So the cop tells the owner the boys are looking for their friend who disappeared while they're playing that benefit show. And the quease-inducing owner says that's a mistake because the place is closed. Unless the cop wants some food. And he's keeping the cop on his good side, essentially, and offering him all these different foods and stuff. Mickey asks if Schnitzler was there, and the owner says,
No. We have a fried rice, chicken chow mein,
The boys leave after a funny, weird bow handshake.
Yeah, neat little exchange.
Yeah.
Piece of physical comedy.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, Davey turns around and does a little bit of observational stand-up. about Chinese food.
I never did like Chinese restaurants. 1 hour after you eat there, you disappear.
Not even in, like, breaking the fourth wall is one thing, just like glancing at the camera. But then you turn to tell a joke, like the whole thing, like you're talking to the folks at home.
Yeah, exactly. So they leave, and then the owner rips off this horrible yellow face, ultimate racist disguise he's wearing.
Yeah.
Now, can we say yellow face? Is that okay to say even? Like, I don't know.
Well, there's blackface.
You can say blackface, right? But I don't know.
There's this the term you use for a racist yellow.
And it shows you're not racist.
Racist
you're like,
Asian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to do it.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't go call someone.
Exactly.
that,
Yeah.
This is just the act of,
Yeah. Pointing out how bad this was.
It's not cool.
And then it ends with him like laughing like a maniac dickhead. And so the boys bring Davy back to the Remington clinic, and he's all banged up with bandages and stuff.
Yeah.
And when they go past the camera, they get so close you can see the shadow of the camera on Mike's arm.
Oh, really?
In one thing, yeah.
That's a good observation. You see, if this was a thing where they had to find a monkey other than Pete, and one of them had to act like they were injured, they would use Pete, and they would actually injure him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What if they tried with Davy? He's just like, no, man, no.
These are fake wounds, baby.
Yeah. So Mike and Mickey carry Davy to the desk and tell the nurse that he's hurt, and she asks a million questions.
Yes.
Essentially. So the address of the Monkees pad comes up, 1438 North Beechwood, which it'd be unreal if just by chance you get to live in 1438 North Beach, just wherever you're living, but you live in that. Like, I think if I was looking at different houses and that was one of them, I'd be like, I really want this house. Even if there was a better house for cheaper, I'd be like, yeah, but this is the same address as the Monkees. And when she finds out he's a musician, she gets all squeaky and says she loves the tuba. And then she which is funny. Then she finally admits them and tells the admissions desk that they'll probably need the operating room.
I don't think he'll need the recovery room.
Ooh.
You don't want to hear that going under the knife.
That's pretty funny, though.
It is pretty funny. Then they can take him on the 13th. So also going to the 13th floor, which usually is the floor.
Boy.
So hey. In the meantime, she tells him to take a cough drop, so he takes it and then freaks out and starts singing and dancing, and the nurse thinks it's a miracle. All of a sudden, he's okay. The boys leave, and then she hoovers up handfuls of cough drops.
Yeah, what the heck?
And then there's stock footage of a rocket going off, just showing that nurse is lit up. It was crazy. Like, it's an interesting move for her just to suddenly be like, oh, did she really want to play the tuba well or something?
What? Why? Who decided to do this little tiny little nothing scene of her slamming a bunch of stuff, and then a rocket goes off?
Rafelson, baby.
It's not exactly eating the plates, but it's kind of this weird thing that just whatever.
So then Mike, Mickey, and Davey are about to climb up a ladder. Then Davey balks and says that it's breaking and entering. He suddenly has a thing. And then Mickey says,
So what do you want to do? Do you want to run home where it's safe and leave Peter here in trouble all alone?
Of course not.
Well, it's just a suggestion.
so the boys scamper up the ladder and they go up forever. And the street's like way, 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 way down there.
Yeah, yep.
And then they make it to the window and they go in. And also, there's a lot of monkey scares in this episode, like looking one way and saying, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I always think is funny.
Oh, for real?
I don't know why I do, but
sometimes they just nail it. Their timing is so good.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like, so then Mike says they should look more like patients and do a quick change into jammies and house coats.
Yes.
Classic. And then they split up to search the hospital. And then Davey finds Mickey, and Mickey finds a very tiny looking Davey. I don't know, just the way it was shot or something. Davey looks super tiny. So the shifty racist has an unconscious schnitzler on a table.
That's his bad guy name.
Yeah.
The shifty racist.
That's what it says on IMDb. And then he says that he's still out from the drug. And the plan is to transport Schnitzler out of the country so America loses one of its greatest scientists.
Yeah.
And let's face it, America would never recover from that.
Nope, still hasn't.
The populace would be in an uproar about losing a top scientist. And the assistant asks, And the assistant asks what they're going to do with Peter, and Peter asks what they're going to do with him, and the assistant tells him to shut up, and then Peter starts crying.
Oh,
You can't do that to me. I need love and understanding. My mother rejected me. My sister resented me. I've lost all my confidence. And now, this operation.
What is that?
Ben Casey, Act 1.
And the assistant pulls out a gun.
yay!
Gun. Thank goodness. And Shifty Racist asks what he's doing. And it's surprising because I would have thought that he would have been down with killing Peter. But it's just the assistant who wants to kill Peter.
Yeah.
And the assistant says Peter knows too much, to which Peter says,
Thank you.
So that's great.
that was really funny. Shifty Racist says they can't afford a murder, but he has other plans for him. And as they leave, the assistant points the gun in the racist's face, and he freaks out. And the Monkees, I realize with this guy, the Monkees have really good, funny actors in their guest spots most of the time.
It's true.
It's like people who can really hold their own, which is good because they have to kind of work against the manic insanity of the Monkees.
Yes.
So Peter hops the chair over to the mirror and says Shazam, and the mirror breaks.
Shazam!
Well, another 7 years bad luck for Captain Marvel.
Which is interesting because Shazam is a DC thing and Captain Marvel's a Marvel thing.
Here's the thing. Shazam, the DC thing, used to be called Captain Marvel. And Shazam was the thing he said.
Okay.
But then Marvel eventually is like, hey, wait a minute.
So the boys are finished searching the first room.
Yeah, there's a 39 to go.
And in the hallway, the racist tells the assistant to check out the physical activity room and that the affairs of this rest home will not be uninterrupted, which is weird.
Yep.
Which I assume is all the evil racist stuff he has going on. That's what happens in that room.
For sure.
So he paints his face all different colors, and it's horrible. So the boys are about to leave the room, but the assistant's on his way, so they run back in, and then they pretend to be patients, and he puts them through different exercises.
Yep.
But if it's a rest home, shouldn't they be old? Right? This is terrible.
It's just not matching up.
Yeah, Mickey has to pull on the weights on ropes, gets smashed into the wall.
Yep.
Kind of, Davy's the one in those machines with the band around your stomach and it jiggles you. And for some reason, that's going to help you lose weight. I don't understand what that's supposed to do.
Well, he has a spare tire.
Yeah.
And he loses it.
Yeah, he throws the spare tire. Mike is sitting on the back of the rowing machine playing a banjo and a girl is rowing it. And the assistant gets all pissed off. And Mike and Dave are in the steam tents. And Mike's still wearing the hat. Has the wool hat on.
Yes.
Hey, Mike, we've got to get out of here. Peter might be dying.
He might be dying.
Notice in this episode, looks like Mike has skipped a shave. I don't know if we can just tell on the Blu-ray, but he looks a little stubbly.
Really, eh?
Yeah, he looks like he had a rough night or something.
He probably did.
Entirely possible.
So the Shifty Racist guy is pointing some weird laser thing at Peter. And he tells him that this will cause temporary amnesia. And by the time Peter has his memory back, they would have taken Schnitzler out of the country. And Peter asks how long his memory will be erased for. And the guy says, for a normal brain, it's 3 days.
But in your case, we are safe to say until early spring.
Sick bird, dude.
He should have said it with like an Asian accent just to really twist the knife. The assistant tells the boys that they can all cool off and go back to their rooms, and then he splits. And then when they're about to head out, the phone rings. Mike picks it up and basically sums up what's happened up to that point. And Mickey asks if it was the police, and Mike says,
No, it's TV Guide.
Yes.
Then they split. TV Guide, a thing. I don't know if people would know anymore. I think
No.
young kids would know what a TV Guide is.
You see, the TV Guide was a magazine, and a magazine is like a stack of tree slices with words on it. It would tell you what was coming up on TV that week because there was no guide button. There was no remote controls to have a guide button on it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. TV Guide is before a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a must-have thing. Like, you had to have some sort of TV guide.
We used the one that came with the Saturday edition of the Toronto Star.
So did we, the Star Week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
that
what
was
I used
enough.
to.
That's fine.
It had a page that just had the movies. All the movies that week were all
Yeah.
together. And I'd go through and highlight the ones I was going to watch. But that was
It's a big part of it.
Yeah.
With the experience.
I was stoked. Man, that's what I'd take out first from the paper, pull it out and see what was coming up on Alf.
Comics first.
Yeah.
Star Week later.
I think I savor the comics. I do Star Week first, and the comics are there waiting for me, like dessert. So anyway, racist dude hits Peter with a laser and a smoke machine and is erasing his memory. And while it's happening, he flashes back to the boys on swings and slides and scooters, with the boys saying, "Peter, where are you?"
Peter, where are you? Peter, where are you?
Peter, where are you?
Peter, where are you?
Which is kind of interesting. The boys return to the physical therapy room and say they've looked everywhere, but then Peter walks in. They freak out, but he has no idea who they are. So Mickey tells Mike and Davy that he heard you could get temporary amnesia from a shock to the system. So Davy suggests they shock Peter.
Yeah.
See, they still get to hurt Peter in some way. And while he says it, Mikey is shaking his head no, which is kind of funny. They try to scare Peter, but warn him first. So when they try to scare him again, he's not ready.
It's like a monkey scare where the scare is the verb.
Yeah.
They're not being scared.
Yeah.
It's a monkey scare.
Yeah.
Being scared by the monkeys.
They do it, and he calls Davy Mickey, but remembers everything else, and they go off to save Schnitzler.
Yep.
So it all works out, which is good. Before early spring.
Way before.
Yeah. So they find Schnitzler passed out, and Peter can't remember how they're going to get him out of the country. There's a knock at the door, and the boys hide behind a big shade type thing, like one of those fake walls you change behind, I guess. They tell Peter to play dumb.
Why am I always the one to play dumb? Why can't I play smart once in a while?
Which is true.
Absolutely true. That's a little bit of real Peter in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. It was in. You read the description of your character, bud. You can't switch it now. You're not going to put on a wool hat.
He says something like this, and then he gets clobbered with an enormous hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the nurse from the front desk comes in and puts a mask on Schnitzler, and he has to bite it to keep it on his face. I don't know if you know.
I think that was just when they were trying it out earlier. They was not going to sit on his face. I'll bite the fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Stick it in my mouth.
Yeah, because they don't put the thing around his head yet. So like, well, just put it in your mouth and we'll pretend. And Peter asks if they're taking him away, and she says that the doctor will be in there in a few minutes, and gives Peter a cough drop. And the footage, more stock footage of a rocket exploding.
Oh boy!
But this one explodes. It doesn't get off the Mac. It just explodes on the thing. She leaves him, and the boys come out and realize that they're going to have to smuggle Schnitzler out in an ambulance. Mike says that with the mask on, you can't even tell who it is, and he sizes up Mickey to take his place.
Yep.
Right, because they've already used Peter for something, so they need Mickey. And they cut to Mickey's on the cot, and Mike's holding him down. They tell him there's no other way besides the doctor is evil. And then Mickey says, "What about me?"
You're not evil, is he, Mike?
No, he's not evil. He's crafty and selfish, maybe, but he's not evil. Come on, come on!
Like, dude.
Pretty funny. They put the mask on Mickey, who also holds it on with his mouth.
Oh, great.
And they hide under the cot. The doctor comes in and wheels Mickey and the boys out of the room.
Seeing them scooting along.
Underneath the cot.
That's great.
Yeah.
So funny.
They head to the operating room, and the shifty racist says that the operation is the only way to permanently erase Schnitzler's memory.
Yep.
And so he and the assistant are getting ready, and a second cot scoots out of the room, banging on everything. And when it moves, you can see the crew member's arm push it.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I love that kind of stuff. And I also love that they probably saw the crew member's arm. We're like, yeah, let's leave that in there.
I had not noticed that. I didn't know what to do. Well, I got up. It was clearly not the three of them under there anymore.
Yeah.
Because it scoots pretty quick.
Yeah.
And but also, so Mickey's doing a patient ruse right away almost. We got Mike doing a little doctor ruse.
Yep. Yeah, somehow the bad guys don't hear anything of that fucking thing smashing into everything.
They're preoccupied.
And then, they come in dressed as doctors. And Davey puts on 2 pairs of gloves on Mike in the most ridiculous way.
It never hurts to be sanitary, Doctor.
SR says he's ready, and Mike says that it's his patient. And a shifty racist guy gets pissed at Mike. How does he not realize that that's Peter, right?
How does he not realize that that's not the professor
anymore?
Exactly. There's a lot going on with these bad guys. We got to buy into them being a really, really absent-minded.
Yeah.
Not noticing a lot of things. So Peter doesn't even have the hat on.
They might be eating cough drops, maybe, the two of them. with the nurse.
Maybe.
So Mike says they can play cards for him. She says, my patient. Let's play cards for him. And then Peter cuts the deck with a knife.
Yeah.
And he tells him that it just says you lost. And so then Mike gets ready to operate, and the shifty guy and the assistant are watching him closely. And Mike and Davy mess around, and the shifty guy again tells him that it's his patient.
When Mike is telling him that, it says right here, he's my patient. He pulls out a menu from the Vincent Van Gogh. It says on the front.
That's true. Yes.
So while they're in the green room, they grab some of the leftover props from earlier episodes.
Like, I wonder if at the time when people are watching it for the first time, if they see that, like, oh, hey, that's that.
You can't see that.
Yeah.
On a 60s TV, you would not be able to read the writing. And we probably weren't looking even when we were taping it off the TV, but it was on the Blu-rays. You could definitely tell what it says.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is cool. So then they all start fighting over the patient, and they're spinning him around. And then Mickey says that he's getting sick. And that's when the shifty racist realizes that it's the Monkees and not a bunch of doctors.
Finally.
Which leads us to Monkees romp number 1.
Here we go.
I'm not your stepping stone.
Yes.
Which is great.
Oh, yeah.
And so they run through the hospital and out of windows. The racist guy and his assistant follow them, but they get bashed in the head with mallets. Blah, blah, blah.
And they're in front of that painted on hallway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Mickey hits them with a bowling pin. And parts of this are used in the intro.
Yes.
In the
These are
second
some
season
iconic
intro.
robe shots.
Yeah.
Anyone familiar with the show? As soon as you saw them in the robes, like, oh, this is familiar.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Mickey and Mike have binoculars, and they check out a nurse. It ends essentially with the Monkees knocking out the shifty racist and assistants on one of the cots or something. Who knows? This whole romp takes place in the rest home with no stock footage. This romp is almost like induces confusion for some reason.
Yep.
Because again, they're not doing any stock footage, not doing any of them on the unicycles or any of that stuff. It all takes place within the episode.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a montage as a romp. But it's still very rompy.
It's true. It doesn't have any performance stuff.
No.
So like this is the kind of romp where later on, which is kind of an accidental genius move, when they start doing the reruns, they can insert the newer songs over like the romps that don't have any performance aspect, where they can put in whatever song.
Yeah.
Which is a very neat thing.
And also, if you check them out, if you're watching them on YouTube, I don't know if I should say this, but they're all available on YouTube.
Shut up, man.
If you don't have the Blu-rays but want to keep along, check that out. But
you should still get the Blu-rays.
You should definitely still get the Blu-rays. The ones on YouTube are the second runs a lot of the time. So the songs aren't these songs. Like they'll be from
Steam Engine or something.
Yeah. And it's very interesting because when you're watching it, it's like, oh wow, this isn't like era appropriate. But you're right. That's exactly what they did. Throw on the new songs. It's brilliant. Just plug the new records in the show.
Yep.
And also, I gotta say that the bridge to Stepping Stone rocks. Like it's so unreal. Yeah, that song is a huge song. It's like why Minor Threat covered it. It's unreal.
It's like 2 years before the Stooges. They're like making it happen.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
As far as like the genre, the heavy rockin', punk rock in air quotes, of like the early stuff. Like there's like 66 was started like garage rock starts happening.
Yeah.
And like the Sonics and what have you. And the Kinks, like that kind of filthy guitar sound. Like, amp is stabbed full of holes and just to get there, and like just the rock and roll, the heaviness. And then the speed of it too. Like, you don't see much of that back in '66.
Yeah.
And but no, it's Sex Pistols do a version of this song. I love the vocals they do on the live '67.
Oh man,
I can't do it with my day apnea.
It is awesome. Yeah, that live 67 record. Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah, I do remember hearing the background vocals on that from the live one. And it was just cool because it's just the four of them doing it. And they were a garage rock band when the four got together.
Yes.
And if they would have been a show about a band more like that than a show like a Beatle-y kind of band, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're more grungy, but they were still kind of the same no matter what. But yeah, anywho. So Schnitzel is thanking the Monkees for what I call, is that his name? Schnitzler. I wrote it down wrong here. So Schnitzler is thanking the Monkees for saving him. And Mickey and Mike scold the shifty racist and the assistant and tell them that they're going to get 20 years for helping America's enemies.
Not only that, but you'll probably get a pretty good wrist slapping from the AMA.
And then they go back to the cheesy talk to the camera bit.
And thus will it always end for men who use their knowledge of medicine for evil and badness.
Come, my trusty cohorts, let us to the Monkey Mobile. Away! Away!
And Peter goes up to the shifty racist and tries to have him look at his tonsils because he still thinks he's a doctor. And Mike grabs him, and the last shot is the boys driving away in the Monkey Mobile, looking fucking awesome. Yeah, but that shot of them too, like when just them hanging out in the Monkey Mobile, just looks awesome.
For real.
I wonder what that looked like to see them in their shirts, getting shots in the Monkey Mobile, just zipping around Hollywood.
It'd be like seeing Superman or something.
It would be amazing. So anyway, that's it. So overall thoughts.
Decent episode. We're starting to recognize some sets, and only one tune.
Oh yeah, yep. One romp.
So one, and Peter abuse.
Yeah.
And a brief shot of a gun. It's a Monkees episode.
It really is. Can you say? I thought Mike was especially funny in this episode.
There's a bunch of Mike.
And Davy too.
She's got my jacket.
But Peter and Davy, both of them really made me laugh in this episode. Like Peter when he says he knows too much.
Thank you.
And Davy's like,
Go see the man.
kills me. And when he tells the boys to let him talk to the girl.
Let me do it, will you please?
Yeah.
He's just like, can I do this, please?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like when you're trying to, or for me, like when I'm trying to make something like a handyman type thing, and my friends who know what they're doing are just like, I could do that. You just drill. You could just drill. Me and my friend put together his deck, and I just drilled all day. I didn't know how to do anything else.
Boy.
But hey, man, you need drillers.
For real.
There is the yellow face stuff in this episode, which is very like whoosh.
Yoy.
But of the times, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. When I saw it, I had to pause it because I was like, not because I was like, I got to look at this, but I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
For real.
Davey didn't fall in love. There's no girl other than the nurse that he tries to mac, but doesn't work out for him.
That is true. And Mickey is still kind of trying to find his spots. Like typically his purpose is to like to put on the dress Mickey or get on the hospital bed and pretend to be this old guy.
That's true.
Like he's like the prop.
Yeah. It's tricky.
And but he does get a laugh line here and there, but he hasn't really, as far as the show goes, he doesn't have as much to do quite yet.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to push the scientist making stuff guy, but that doesn't really come up enough.
Doesn't come up all the time.
Yeah. He just goes crazy every once in a while.
Crafty and selfish, maybe.
Highlight of the show, for me, it's when Davey says going to see the man, or when Peters thanks him for knowing too much.
I know you do like that.
How about yourself?
I like the romp. I like to be like Stepping Stone. And I like when they're doing the, Scooby-Doo-ish, but Scooby-Doo ain't happened yet. Running through the doors and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
that's what does it for me.
To another category, might be new is, was there a Monkees ruse? And
Darn right there was.
With Davey being injured, but it doesn't work out for them. And then they have to pretend to be doctors. So they have a fallback ruse.
And they get rused a little bit by this bad guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rusing going on in this.
Yeah. Whole lot of rusing going on.
The racist, what do you call him?
The sketchy racist.
The sketchy racist. Dr. Sketchy Racist.
Yeah. Best musical moments, obviously Stepping Stone.
Yay.
A, because it's the only one, and B, because it rules. Classic Monkees moments. We have a "Don't Do That"
Yes.
Don't do that.
and the scares.
Yes.
The Monkees jumps. Things that wouldn't fly in 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously, the racistness
As
and
mentioned.
and maybe the nurse just scoffing up drugs like crazy.
It depends what kind of show it is.
Yeah, true. But
Maybe not a Monday night 7 p.m. kind of show.
yeah. So some did you knows, or only one, or no, it's a few. Some did you knows. The original ending, Peter was approached by an attractive woman with a note, and then the monkeys think it's going to be another kidnapping and tear him away. Just totally CB in him. The shifty racist guys in Head as well as Vitelloni. I'm not too sure who that is.
No, we'll have to
I'll look
revisit
that up.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, he shows up in Head. And the second consecutive episode where Peter gets kidnapped.
Talk about samey.
Yeah. Yeah, so weird. But anyway, that's that. It's a good episode overall.
Decent.
Except for the cringe-inducing
A little bit of that.
racism. But we have now come to the second part and less racist part of the show, where we reach into the wool hat of mystery.
Yes.
And continue our countdown.
Yes.
So here you go. I'll pass it over to you,
I get
bud.
to go first.
Yeah, I may as well. Last time we only did 2. Because I'm a Believer was the honorary mention.
Okay. It wasn't Born to Follow, which is Peter's song from Good Times, or one of Peter's songs, because this is the one he sings on.
Oh, I'd rather go and journey where the diamond crescent's flowing and run across the valley beneath the sacred mountain and wander through.
So it wasn't Born to Follow, sung by Peter Tork from the album Good Times, written by Goffin King.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. It's another cool thing about Good Times, why it feels like a Monkees record, because of the songwriters involved. And some of the old tracks, some of the old songwriters. It's just so neat how they pulled it all off.
Yeah, I agree. It's great to hear Peter, like an older Peter singing. And yeah, it's just a great.
It is cool. Not a lot happens in the tune, but it's got a good guitar solo. And I'm primarily familiar with the Byrds version of the song, which is from Easy Rider, which is like a Bob Raffleson joint.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Maybe that's kind of a shout-out throwback thing as well. Like just the whole connection the song has. At first you might think this is kind of unrelated, but it totally is related from the songwriters and from where the song itself comes from. And Peter's still in pretty good voice. He's not crazy auto-tuned like he is on the Christmas album. he still sings pretty good. Like like last time I saw him live, he was still singing pretty good. He still had a lot to do. It's a good little representative tune by Peter Tork. But where do we put it on the Select 'em Up countdown?
Ooh. There's like the Let's Dance On to You're So Good to Me kind of area.
Okay.
Where do you feel?
I think you're right. Regional Girl was right below Let's Dance On.
Yeah.
So do we want this above or below Regional Girl?
Let's go above Regional Girl.
Between Let's Dance On and Regional Girl, we now have Wasn't Born to Follow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Up next.
Okay, here I go.
Chris the Kid Paco going in to get a tune.
Oh, even the cat is interested in what's going on. I'll spend my life with you.
Oh.
And I hope you're there and you still care. And if you do, I'll spend my life with you.
I'll Spend My Life With You is a Davy song, but it's sung by Mickey. That's the general vibe of it, I think.
So yeah, I like the song actually quite a bit. For like an early Monkees tune, I'm a fan of this one.
Me too.
I always forget the name of it though. Like it never clicks when I see like I'll Spend My Life With You. I'm like, what's that one? And then you hear it, like, oh yeah, that one.
It's a great tune.
For me, with this song. I think in the area of like we've got Whatever's Right, Gotta Give It Time, You're So Good to Me, right below P.O. Box 49847.
Okay.
I'd say in that kind of area.
Okay. Is it better than When Love Comes Knocking at Your Door?
I think so.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I'd say. I'd put it between P.O. Box and Whatever's Right.
Yeah,
me.
you know what? Let's put it up there a little, because I think it gets credit for being a song that they had done for like more of the Monkees era, but they liked it enough to play it and learn it as the Monkees playing the instruments.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And we'll put it behind P.O. Box 9847.
Perfect. All right, last one.
Oh boy, last tune of this 2-week period. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Oh dear.
What do we got here?
We have, you were talking about Davy songs that you think might be near the top of the list.
Ooh.
And we got The Day We Fall in Love.
Oh, wow. Yes. So not this one.
And if the lines that I say fall apart, it's because I won't know where to start. But you'll understand when I say them to you, 'cause they'll come straight from my heart. On the day we fall in love.
But it is, just hearing the title, you're like, that's Davy's.
Yep. Just like when you hear the title of I'll Spend My Life With You, the brain goes to Davy.
It's true. It is true. We're really hanging around the more the Monkees era.
It is
right
true.
Now.
This song, you could look into who wrote it, who played on it. But who cares?
Yeah.
It's a weird spoken word, like he's singing along with a weird instrumental record. Not even singing along, like flirting along.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's very strange.
Yeah, girls must have just put this. It must have been there just for girls to feel like Davy's talking to them.
Davy's
It's almost like a
talking to
VR
them.
helmet
They
nowadays.
put the headphones on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And for sure, obviously, people will defend everything Davy does to the ends of the earth. But it's hard to contemplate a time to where someone like you or I would want to put this song on.
Exactly. This is why the CD was invented, so you could skip it quickly. Someone heard this song and was like, man, I wish I could be a scientist and learn how to skip songs quickly to get away from this thing. And that's exactly what that was. Because, yeah, it's a very weird song. And again, not knocking Davy himself, but just like, what the hell is this?
For real.
It's written by Denny Randall and Sandy Linzer. You know.
And it's the third song on side 2 of More of the Monkees.
Where would you put it on More of the Monkees? It's almost where it has to go.
I would have flipped the order of side 2 altogether.
Oh, yeah.
You should open with I'm a Believer, not close with I'm a Believer. You put I'm a Believer at the end of a bunch of songs you want people to suffer through to get to I'm a Believer, it turns out. However, side 2 also includes Laugh. And Sometime in the Morning. We start to see Michael Nesmith's point, but Sometime in the Morning is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
We haven't got to that yet. Someone would stop listening to this because Sometime in the Morning is the 4th song. Someone bails on this record because of The Day We Fall in Love.
Yeah.
The first song on side 2 is Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow. And the second song is The Kind of Girl I Could Love. Things are decent.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. It'd be a good spin around. Because Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow to end with would be good.
But then comes The Day We Fall in Love.
But yeah, no, it's a very weird song. So I would put it definitely near the bottom. Especially for re-listenability.
Well, our bottom 3 is Laugh, D.W. Washburn, and I Love You Forever.
I say it goes between D.W. but Washburn and Laugh.
Fair enough.
That's where that one goes.
We have a new third least favorite song here at Podcast Valley Sunday.
It's very true. Very true. So that was an interesting threesome there.
Good grabs.
Yeah.
A little peek behind the curtain. We're doing this episode on Leap Day, and the fact that we got to pull The Day I Fall in Love on Leap Day.
Yes.
Monkees fans know the significance of this day.
Yes, and even if you don't, we may as well say this. It's the anniversary of when Davy Jones died, and I for one was shocked.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, I thought he would probably been the last Monkee
He's
to
the
go.
youngest, for real.
Yeah, he loved
like,
life. He loved being in the Monkees. He loved singing. Loved entertaining. And
he seemed in decent shape.
Yeah, 100%. It was a shock.
Yeah.
I remember that, like, second probably only to when MCA died. I did not, but even with
MCA
him, you
was a
knew
little
he was
different.
sick.
He was a bit sick,
But-
and even Peter. I think this happened after Peter had been diagnosed with this or that,
Yeah,
and so it had suddenly Davy Jones dies.
yeah, it was a very
We're worrying about Peter a bit, and then Davy Jones dies.
out of nowhere.
Ugh.
And I don't know if I'm pretty sure I read this, but maybe I'm making it up, whatever. But I heard that like the night before he passed away, he was like at like a pub, like singing, like not getting paid. He was just there entertaining people and just being Davy Jones. And yeah, that changed the whole thing. I didn't think they would ever do any Monkee stuff again after that.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
As long as there's Mickey Dolenz,
Yeah. If it, yeah,
someone's gonna be out singing the Monkee songs.
that's very true. But anyway, yeah. So a little shout out to Davey. Thank you.
Miss you.
Yeah, we really do. I also want to let the listeners know we rag on Davey's songs, and we've made up this Austin Powers Davey character, which I just think is hilarious and love talking like Davey, making him a weird little perv. But I'm a very big fan of Davy Jones.
Yeah, we love him.
Yeah,
we love all the boys.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same without him. And
For real.
And he's hilarious on the show. And
yeah,
just his songs just aren't always my cup of tea.
Well, on that note,
yes. Thank you for listening. Rest in peace, Davy. And have yourselves a monkey little evening. Peace.
Thank you.
Hey Monkees fans, if you like what you're hearing, you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all at Podcast Valley Sunday. We'd love to hear from you. Also on our Facebook group, we'll be updating the countdown every week, so you can keep up to date with that. And if you can rate us, please rate us, but be nice. We're thin-skinned.